everyone, and welcome to the finale, the final games of the Great Gathering of the Bodacious, the Ginseng, the Brotherhood, the Part 2 Ginseng Pai Show Tournament. Um, me and Monkey Atso have been hosting this tournament for the entire month of January 2023 at this point. So, yeah, final stretch here. We tried streaming this, didn't work. Technical difficulties. So the backup plan here is we're actually going to go into the voice chat of the public server. So I'm gonna record what happens in the voice chat. So yeah, we're just gonna hang out there, talk about the games, super chill. Hopefully people will want to join. So yeah, our competitors, Monkey Yatsu right there, playing Rodaku, and Sparked versus Adder. These are the semifinals. As you can see, they're already going for it. We've already got tiles moving, especially in the Monkey Yatsu versus Rodaku side of the board. I think I set that up right. Yeah. So, we already have tiles moving on both sides, on both boards. As you can see, I have two boards going on here. I can zoom in on one board at a time if I want to. But yeah, so we can watch both games unfold at the same time. Let's go and see if the voice chat is super active. I'm hearing tiles clacking all over the place. It's exciting. Hello, hello. There's currently only an Aosia in the streaming voice chat. Oh, we have a turtle. Hello, turtle. Turtle. Looks like these games are lagging out a little bit. Here, let me try to catch them up. Okay. So, already a lot of action going on. Let's zoom in on one game at a time, starting with Sparked versus Adder, which should be this one. Yep. Okay, so let's look at what has happened so far here. If we go back to the beginning, starting off with a bison push to that lion turtle from both sides, the reflecting bison push, aggressive lotuses, very typical stuff here, and ginseng out from Adder. So that's the ginseng out protecting the lion turtle there, and likely also protecting future prospects with that lotus if it wants to hop over to that center point. And then if we go ahead and move on over to what's going on with Monkey Yatsu and Rodaku, this looks like it's also making lots of progress very quickly here. Monkey Yatsu with his signature koi rush. Oh, they're making moves, so it's rushing me back to the end. Signature koi rush from Monkey Yatsu after a classic bison push from Rodaku. Lotus is out from Rodaku, and Monkey Yatsu decides to wait a little bit longer. Sorry, that's I didn't silence that.
My headphones weren't working, and change the board to something. All right, so this like swapping out my headphones. Okay, so here I'm doing this, and yeah, I didn't sound very this action there. Here, let's change this back to right. Right over here. Interesting. This is something that uh, this is an interesting move that so I played a few games with Pip recently. Played this move against me a lot. Badger Roll pulling um the Ginseng over, protecting for this and Badger Roll.
Which map?
What?
Which move is that you're talking about?
And then Lion Turtle. Oh, move
Is that
the Spark versus
wrong?
Adder. Yeah. Yeah.
To host. Okay, yeah, that's a really cool badgeable flip there. Um, yeah, protecting both the Lotus and the badgeable there. It's really cool to
Yeah,
see
and
what people
also
come. Go ahead.
yeah, it's cool because like it gets the Badger Mole more involved as well.
Mhm.
It also sets it up to be able to jump Lotus to the center while protecting Lotus, Badger Mole, and maintaining the Ginseng protection line,
Gyatso and I
which
have
is
talked
basically
about
like
this.
basically
There's some of the most powerful early game moves you can make are the ones that utilize both tiles, or that utilize that make both that do fulfill two purposes at once. You know.
yeah, yeah, definitely, and that is a really good example of that. Because here, so one thing that I've seen happen a lot, which in this specific situation it can't happen because Adder's Ginseng is not in like the starting position, but I've seen a lot of people play like Orchid to what would that be? Like -4/0, protected by the Ginseng and just like getting um, just like attacking the Lotus, attacking the doesn't attack the Orchid. Yeah, well, no, it does attack the Orchid and also threatening to go further and attack more things. But this move, just puts a stop to that attack, which I really like.
Yeah, for sure. And Adder with the aggressive lion turtle. This is something that I've seen Gyatso do a lot of as well. This is Adder's latest move. It's very, very aggressive because if you can get that lion turtle deep into your opponent's side of the board, it's a dangerous thing for your opponent to have to deal with because that lion turtle can cancel abilities. So if your opponent so your opponent can't freeze it, you can just do whatever you want. It can't be frozen or moved or anything like that. So
Yeah, it
if you
also
can,
shuts down. And I think it shuts down your opponent, but also shuts down your ability to put your Lotus in the center,
right,
which is a very interesting thing because now, because a lot of stuff happens around the center, and there are a lot of games where the Lotus gets to the exact center of the board simply because that's just like a very easy path to get to. Um, but this now stops that, so they have to get like they have to find another way to get to the midline. One thing I've seen is I've noticed, and Yatsu is actually the one who pointed this out to me, was that -4/0, and 4/0 are kind of like some of the most, they're like a few of the most important places to have control over, simply because it's very easy for either Lotus to get to one of those three places.
Yeah, Gyatso loves to talk about the key positions of Paisho, and those are the three key positions for sure. So it's very possible that the future meta of this game will develop to a place where you end up fighting not to get your lotus across, but to have control of all three positions. It could be interesting to see it move in that direction. Monkey also already saying that he is in a tough spot in the voice chat there. Let's see what's happening in this game. Right, so picking up where I left off with this game so far, Gyatso is delaying putting his lotus out to further develop its line of sight. The badge roll being brought forward by Brodaku, not flipping it either, and or possibly the directly. Gyatso put his back into the gate.
Tyson and Admiral. So the line turtle to 1-0 classic, and that happens a lot in a lot of games. And then in Sparked versus Adder's game, we have Adder played in 0-4, setting up to protect the center, which is interesting considering that the center is blocked. I'm curious what that is, because typically, you do that and then Badger Mole or Badger jump the lotus to the center and would be protected. But with this position, I'm assuming that Spark is going to try and find a way to get behind Adder's Line Turtle and block that Ginseng protection, which will allow him to get the Line Turtle out of the way and get to the center of the board where it will be protected.
Yeah, Sparks definitely is trying to find something to do about that lion turtle, and I'm guessing moving that ginseng to make for closer rush is probably part of that.
Yeah. Thing is, you're kind of like limited in what you can protect with moving that ginseng there because you only have the three spaces in front of it. So, which does actually, that's like one shy of being able to directly attack Adder's ginseng, which is protecting Lotus. So one thing that would have been interesting if it was like one more to the side, like just above or below, depending on how you're looking at the board, their bison. Then they could have a whole line open to have this whole line open to be able to go here or something and then attack like that and threaten the ginseng directly. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in that game.
I've got my OBS set up in a way so that I can look at both boards at once.
Sorry, what did you say?
I've got my OBS set up in a way so I can look at both boards at once from my recording view. So I'm just sitting here waiting for someone to make a move. Although sometimes it's slow to update, so I'll check around as well.
Yeah, I've got two tabs open, so
Nice.
switching between two tabs. All right. There's clearly a lot of thought being put into these moves.
Yeah, I think they've both done their openers, and now everyone's actually like, okay, I should probably actually think about what I'm doing. People are like, okay, what's going on here?
It is kind of interesting how I'm sure like people are gonna develop theory for this game in the future.
Yeah.
Current theory only really goes like two moves. Like I think the most famous piece of theory is the backwards ginseng push trap thing. Um, stuff like that. I'm sure people are gonna develop like longer lines and are gonna find out the best move for everything. That's a very interesting move by
We have a wild Cajun.
it's a very Rodaku bringing their toy up. I'm assuming that's just like to find a way to deal with with Gyatso's lion turtle. And this is a very interesting move by Adder, bringing the Lotus up there. Or the Ginseng up. So what is that? Three or two, two, one. Um, can't say that I've really ever seen a move like that. It's interesting. Like typically, you try to keep the Ginsengs protected. I'm curious why Adder is choosing not to do that here.
Well, is the ginseng under threat at that position?
Under the what?
Is that ginseng under threat, or is it okay? I don't see any.
It is. It's not under threat, but it can very easily be threatened with just like a single wheel move or something like that,
Right.
or bringing the orchid.
But then
Um,
Adder could also respond to that, though, by bringing the other ginseng down and making double tile protection there.
True, but in a way, it's like opening Sparked up to, like if they move their orchid up, now their orchid is more involved and can threaten other pieces
Ah.
um, while they have to move something to protect it. But on the other hand, all if Sparks just moves their, or if Adder just moves their ginseng up too, then everything in the center will really be protected. But then, yeah, if they Adder like moves up there, then everything is protected, but you are vulnerable to like putting a piece directly between the two ginsengs, which would then stop that separation. And so I would say like here you move your orchid here or something, maybe even like that does. Yeah, there. Sorry, this is here.
Looking at Gyatso and Rodaku's game, some things have happened since the last move I saw there. So the last move I saw, Rodaku put the Lotus onto the midline. Gyatso responded by putting the lion turtle in, I'm pretty sure, the only spot it's able to go and still block that win. Because it's blocking tile abilities for that badge mold to flip the Lotus over. Looks like
Yeah,
Rodaku is
both
responding.
I should put.
Rodaku responding with a koi, likely to set up a jump, and
I'm
then
assuming that what they're going to use wait for is like try and potentially, uh, to like. Actually, never mind. I had an idea, but that wouldn't work. You know what I was saying? Yeah,
Gyatso responding with an orchid, likely just to lay on the pressure. Also,
yeah,
if Rodaku were to put a tile on one negative one, then Gyatso is already blocking the the Lotus Jump win
yeah.
there.
Gyatso is having to play very defensively here. Doesn't really have a clear path to get his Lotus out and get it across the line. Um, I would say that having to bring his Lotus out and then back in was definitely like that one extra move, really. Yeah, that extra move, two extra moves technically, that Rodaku had is definitely helping him here. And then in the other game,
Still no progression from what we last saw in Spark versus Adder.
yeah,
Spark versus Adder is a much more normal looking game. They're both setting up Ginseng fortresses, and
yeah,
we have a lion turtle from Spark. That is interesting. See, what's cool about that is that the only tile threatening that lion turtle is the lion turtle. So the only tile threatening Spark's lion turtle is Adder's lion turtle. So if Adder were to capture Spark's lion turtle, then that would make Adder's lion turtle vulnerable for Spark to capture it with his bison. And then at that point, there would be nothing protecting Adder's Lotus in time
yeah. And
before
I
it
would
gets
say
captured.
here, Spark is attacking both of Adder's Ginsengs. So, I mean, here really the clear thing is just either move the like one ginseng up or one down to form that like ginseng fortress like this, like that, um, while still protecting the Lozen turtle. But that opens up. It does kind of open you up for moving the like lion turtle between the two ginsengs. Currently, that wouldn't really be possible. But if you move the bison up, like if Spark were to move their bison up and move their orchid in, so it protects that square in between the two, then that is possible to block that line of separation, and then um, you know you would be able to attack one ginseng. You take out one ginseng, it's very easy to take out the next because you can't protect it.
Sparked has really put Adder in a tough position here because there's a lot of different things that Adder can do. Adder can move his ginseng to point to 0, 1, making double protection, but that would mean that Spark is able to capture that Lotus. Another
Sorry,
option,
how would
that
Spark be able to capture the lotus?
the lion turtle is blocking the ability of the ginseng tiles, so the Lotus is um, vulnerable. Is that correct? No, it's not vulnerable.
Thought so, but looking on it, it looks like that's not.
I forgot that that's how the rules. That's the weird part of the rules.
Oh, I feel like it should be able to stop the ginseng, but I can see how that might be like a little bit too powerful. Oh, and in Gyatso and Rodaku's game, we have um, a Ginseng move, which I guess preparing for Gyatso to bring his Lotus back out, but it's protecting the Bison here. I'm not entirely sure what that move does.
I guess it's probably primarily for protecting the Badgermole there.
Yeah, but Gyatso's Lotus isn't out at this point, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's just in preparation, and then like ginseng up in front of the from his Lotus to keep that fortress.
maybe Rodaku is interpreting Gyatso's Orchid move less as a um, blocking of jumping and more as a capturing threat. And maybe that's what the intended purpose of it was in the first place. So, but either way, Rodaku is just
Maybe
setting up to protect.
I mean I can see that as like an aggressive move, preparing to bring your Lotus out and start attacking because I think that that's what Gyatso needs to do here, but he needs to be smart about it because currently it's pretty easy for a Rodaku to just keep putting pressure on jumping his Lotus over. So Gyatso needs to start taking pieces and do something. Oh, Gyatso plays an interesting move, blocking the potential fortress with his wheel and attacking the Badgermole and Ginseng. Um, so I have assuming that Gyatso is planning on bringing his Lotus out very soon, and because in this position you can bring it out, and then that line of separation is blocked,
Gyatso has two tiles out that are
which
very
would be very
vulnerable.
helpful because that reduces. Yeah, that definitely that final winning move. So eliminating one of them is definitely the way to go, I'd say.
Gyatso has
He
two
also has access
tiles
to
out that are both very vulnerable, but also both doing threats. So when he brings his Lotus
yeah,
out, it'll force Rodaku to make a choice of which tile or they are willing to lose. Because if they capture one, Gyatso can just capture the other.
but yeah, I think I have a feeling that like let's say next turn Gyatso brings their Lotus out, then um, I mean really the only like real option I see is to take the for Rodaku to take Gyatso's wheel because otherwise there's the threat of your ginseng being taken, which would be very bad for Rodaku.
It's true.
So you take the wheel, you lose either the badger roll or the koi.
I'm gonna guess that
Assuming,
before that happens, though, Rodaku is gonna do a move that makes it so he doesn't really
yeah,
have to make that choice.
true, but we'll see.
We shall see.
Interesting. So, wait, has anything happened? Oh no, this is the exact same move we saw last time in Spark versus Adder's game.
Yeah, no progression so far there.
Interesting. I thought it was interesting twice. So, and that is definitely an interesting move. It's not protected, but there's no real way of taking it. I mean, Adder could just simply trade. That is always an option. Um, the question is, does Adder want that trade? And I'm assuming the answer is no. I'm assuming that's why they put their line turtle on 0-0 because they want to control the center.
We have a move.
That is a very interesting move.
The thing is that
It's
the Lotus was not technically under threat, so that was not super necessary.
yeah. Maybe Adder simply forgot. I mean, like we both forgot as well that the line turtle doesn't stop the ginseng ability.
Right.
So maybe
Well, the
that's what
line,
they're
I
thinking.
thought the line turtle does stop the ginseng ability. It's just that if you can't move it and use that at the same time.
Oh, oh yeah, that makes sense. But then, at the same time, if you were to like land on the piece, and then now that piece is next to the land turtle, so therefore it doesn't stop it. I mean, it's definitely interesting that like I guess just even though it will end up next to the ginseng that's protecting it, that the option to take it wasn't available. But they're also now, Adder's also now threatening um, Spark's lion turtle in the center. So now it would be, you know, still an equal trade. Lion turtle takes,
Right.
Bison takes. Bison takes actually would be better for Adder. Um, However, I'm assuming Spark's going to take one of the ginsengs in this position, or potentially move their orchid up to start attacking the lotus. Is one.
Yeah, I think Adder is counting on Sparks not being willing to trade a ginseng line. So
I think so.
I think Adder's
In my opinion, that trade is worth it. Ginseng for lion turtle because there are like so many opportunities where, like I'd say, there are more opportunities where having a ginseng. Then again, you can't always just exchange it and get it back. No progress made in the Gyatso versus Rodaku game. There's a lot of thought being put into these moves.
Yeah. Is the one thing about streaming games live is that you gotta wait for them to be ready to make their moves. So it can take a while sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, Ginseng is like relatively slow game. You don't want to just like make moves and hope for the best. You have to like really think about what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Make sure you're not making some huge mistakes because like I've seen and I've made plenty of just horrible mistakes that lost me the game.
Right. Yeah. You can a lot of times in ginseng games go back and find the move that was the turning point and the reason that someone lost.
Yeah. There's one game I played against Gyatso actually where he um, he made one move. He made a move which basically um, if it was a different situation, it would have actually worked amazing. But because of the situation, it just simply like blundered the win and let me
Uh,
win. So stuff like that happens all the time, even to some of the best players.
there was a game we were reviewing, I think from the like a couple of rounds ago, where someone made a move that was a really good defensive move, but it did move the other player into a position where they could just lotus hop all the way back, all the way into the next thing. So like it actually set them up for a win. But
Oh,
if that perfect lotus hop wasn't lined up, they would have been able to get the super really good defensive move. But alas,
yeah. In the Gyatso vs Rodaku game, Rodaku moved their Ginseng, so it's no longer under threat from the wheel, um, which makes sense. In a situation where Gyatso takes, oh, they now, oh, that's a really great move there by Gyatso, moving their wheel in between the Lotus and Ginseng. So now that protects Lotus. So now Gyatso takes the Lotus out and is able to threaten the Lotus, uh, both Ginsengs, the Bajinmol, and Koi. So, however, there is like the fact that when you bring your Lotus out, your opponent has the first chance to take. So, if feel like I would say that the move here would actually be to bring the orchid in to be able to take the wheel and get rid of it, like get rid of the orchid, restoring that protection line. However, you're now get rid of the protection. Otherwise, there's the threat of taking the lotus out and then taking the so taking their lotus out and then being able to take Redact's lotus. And here, Spark's still thinking.
Still thinking. We have Aurelius in the chat with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired.
These are definitely both. Alright, so yeah, makes sense for Daku moving like vaginal, jumping the wheel out of the way. The wheel still is able to threaten the line turtle and koi. However, that protection, the ginseng protection to the lotus is restored. Now that still some of the temple. So here I'd say that really what Yatsu has to do is start bringing those out and start taking pieces.
Yeah, Gyatso is Gyatso is stuck in a rut that a lot of players get into, where they, well, some players just will never bring their lotus out, but in Gyatso's case, his lotus went back in, and he just can't find a time that he feels comfortable enough putting it back out, and he delays putting it back out for so long that eventually Ridaku just finds a win opportunity and takes it.
Yeah, there was one game I was playing against Yatsu where he was definitely winning, and then I brought my lotus out, and there was like a huge capture that happened, and then the game sort of equaled out. No, I eventually lost that game, but you definitely, you can't wait too long to bring your lotus out because otherwise you will lose.
Right, yeah.
Remove 5 and 8. Just
We have a dragon up from Sparked.
so just waiting for someone to make a move. Yeah, this is a problem with like live commentary. It's very slow. Yeah, oh wait, Spark made a move.
Yep.
Dragon, interesting. Okay, so that attacks the ginseng, which that attacks the ginseng as well as protecting the lion turtle. I mean, Adder still always has the option of just like trading lion turtles or trading bison for lion turtle.
It seems like
trade.
It seems like it would have been in Adder's best interest to just make that trade, but I guess he feels otherwise.
I mean here, like I would say, take the bison and then dragon, like dragon takes that, and then you're still like you're basically the same position.
Yeah. This is really interesting because it's Adder's turn, and he can capture that lion turtle with his bison. Yeah, and Sparks can capture whatever he captures that with back, but then Adder can capture that again. So either way, this will turn out with Adder having captured a lion turtle and some other tile, and being having been left with whatever other tile he gets left with.
I mean, I think that Adder taking, cause like I'm assuming that what happened is, Bison takes, and then
Oh, we do
Bison
have the
takes line.
we do have the Adder or Sparks Bison is also threatening that spot as well, though.
Yeah. So yeah, because that would result in Adder losing a Bison and Lion Turtle, and Spark losing a Lion Turtle and Dragon, which I would say is definitely better for Spark. But if you leave it at just Bison and Lion Turtle, then that's definitely better for Adder there. Also have some moves here. Oh, okay.
Something happened in the other game.
Yeah, Gyatso versus Rodaku's game. So Gyatso brings their Koi up, stopping that Ginseng protection line. It seems that's like really what Gyatso. I mean, it makes sense. That's what Gyatso needs here. It also traps the Lotus and the Badgermole. However, uh, Rodaku's Rodaku's Lion Turtle then stops Gyatso's Koi from blocking pieces, but that line of separation or the line of protection is still blocked, um, which opens up, if Gyatso gets his Lotus out, opens the opens up the possibility um, to attack Rodaku's Lotus.
Yeah, Gyatso has two tiles on Rodaku's side of the board, one tile on the midline, and two tiles threatening that Lotus right now. Um,
Yeah, well, three tiles.
that's true. Yeah, three
So
tiles.
yeah, and then I mean you can very easily just move the other orchid. The other orchid could also move in and attack the as well. So yeah,
So a play Gyatso might want to do here is put out the Lotus. Um, Rodaku takes whatever Rodaku wants to take, but then Gyatso can capture the Lotus, and then the ball's in Gyatso's court at that point. Because when Rodaku puts the Lotus back out, Gyatso can take whatever he wants to take.
yeah. One thing Gyatso might want to do is protect his lion turtle here before taking his Lotus out.
Hmm.
Just like that limits Rodaku to either Koi or Orchid, which is obviously going to take the Koi. So, because I feel like a lion turtle, having a lion turtle is definitely better than having a Koi in a lot of cases. So I would say protect it, but then again, so Rodaku has a move here that can that will make it worse for Gyatso to bring his Lotus out than protecting the protecting Gyatso protecting his lion turtle would then just open Rodaku up to another move, which would make things worse. So I would say maybe it is better to just like bring his Lotus out and start taking pieces because there's definitely like a Rodaku's Lotus anyways because that seems like that's going to happen the second it comes out because and there it is. Gyatso brings his Lotus out, and then now Rodaku is able to take his pick.
So it begins.
Yeah, because there is no way really to protect his Lotus here. Um, the only way theoretically would be is if if one of Rodaku's orchids was nearby, and Gyatso's lion turtle wasn't where it is.
Rodaku could bring his bison down and push the
Oh
Lotus. Oh,
yeah,
that's another option.
did the other thing with the Bajimol, yeah, that restores that protection. But it now opens, he's now wasted his
Right.
so maybe what would have been better is just take it easy, get the Lotus back, and then have a slight advantage fighting before, then again, he brings his lotus out, Gyatso now gets that chance to capture, so.
Yeah.
But now Gyatso is able to just take a piece. He could take one of Rodaku's ginseng here and lose his lion turtle, which could be a good trade.
If I were Gyatso, I would bring the koi to capture the koi, even trade, and that freezes the badge mole so it can't help the capture. Lion turtle is the only thing that can capture it, and then the wheel's protecting that. Basically, I would take advantage of that spot on 2-1 because Gyatso has would come out of that um,
Yeah, that
capture
wheel
war on
being
top.
there
I'm pretty sure.
will definitely help. One possibility is just take the badger mole, which then the wheel wouldn't be able to help, but you would have support from the orchid.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, actually, I think you are right though. Taking the koi would be better in this position.
Azure or Koi, both are good options. Basically, Gyatso has the opportunity to capture, and I say he takes it. I say that's the best thing.
He could like try and you know the move that I make here is either koi takes koi or lion turtle takes ginseng here. Probably koi takes because well actually that would okay so that opens up to actually yeah so koi takes koi also threatens um, Rodaku's other ginseng. So no matter what, a ginseng could be taken, and then you know Gyatso could lose his lion turtle, and then take a ginseng, take the ginseng that's protecting the lotus, and then eventually gets the lotus. I'd say that Gyatso has done a great job equaling position up because if you go back like just a few moves, it's very. It really seems like Gyatso is down a lot,
Right.
and now Gyatso's even things up a little bit. It also seems like there's a move in Spark versus Adder's game.
Yes, I was just going to mention that. I think what Gyatso has done is he's kind of said, "Okay, let's slow down." He's kind of like, "Okay, let's back it up and like get this going here. Like just play this game slower because they were both putting their lotuses, rushing them very fast to the front. And I think Gyatso just wanted to slow down.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why Gyatso chose to bring his Lotus back. I mean, if he had left it out, he could have maybe done. Oh, and then another move. Oh, I was considering this move, but I didn't think Gyatso would make it. Using the wheel to block the ginseng protection, it really seems like Gyatso would just wants to get the Lotus or Rodaku's Lotus off the center. Which I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I feel like Koi takes Koi here, like Koi takes Koi, and then making a move like that, because after Koi takes Koi, you do have the option to you have you're threatening the ginseng that you're blocking anyways, and then you also still have the wheel move because there is no other way. That is the only line that can protect the Lotus, and no matter what happens, unless they move their ginseng closer, Gyatso could just then take it. They move their ginseng further away, so it's not threatened by the koi. Then you still have that wheel move, stopping that protection. It is interesting that Gyatso chose to just block that protection. Then again, it is also threatening the ginseng. So
I think the fact that it's threatening the ginseng is what makes this such a good move, and it's also the fact that if something were to capture that wheel, well, that thing would still be in between the ginseng and the lotus. So, is there? Or my question is there any way for Rodaku to do something that makes it so that he will not lose his lotus in the next turn? And If there is a way for Rodaku to do that, I would say that this was a wasted turn from Gyatso, because I think Gyatso really should have taken advantage of the fact that he could have won a lot of capture wars there with that advantage
I
in
mean,
having the first move.
I'll be honest. If I was Gyatso here, I wouldn't like next move take the Lotus. I would take the Ginseng first and kind of maybe like do some capturing and then just like make sure that he always has the option to take the Lotus and put an end to any capture wars if he ends up in a bad position.
Yeah, taking the ginseng here is
Like
a really good idea because
yeah,
if if Rodaku responds by bringing his other ginseng in, then he can just take that too. If Rodaku responds by taking the wheel, he also can capture the lotus after that. So Monkey Gyatso should definitely take the ginseng there, but that is all depending on what Rodaku does next.
I will say that um, if Rodaku's orchids were closer, if he could actually reach that point, then that would actually be a very interesting example of how to use the orchid properly. You know, you take the piece, it eliminates that protect. Like it, you take the piece, that piece is gone, and then now there's no piece remaining on that spot, restoring that protection. It's definitely a good example of um, how the orchids can be used. And there's also uh, there's this activity in Spartacus Adder's game. As they say, only 6 turns in, but the game is really intense. Um, Interesting. Badger mole jump the orchid. I've seen moves like this a lot. Like I said, you get the badger mole segment involved as well as getting the koi mole involved, which I think you said before that in early game, a move that does 2 things at once is very powerful. Um,
Especially if it means progressing those OBs closer
yeah,
to
you
Ginseng.
are also putting pressure now on the lion turtle. Like now there's 3 different things that can take Sparks lion turtle. So I'd say he needs to. I here I feel like just bringing his orchid in and threatening, just threaten stuff would be the right thing here. I want to just take a ginseng. I feel to just do that.
You really like this whole idea of taking ginsengs, don't you?
I do. It was Gyatso who mentioned how important it is to have at least 1 ginseng on the board, but
Mm.
I feel like it's way more important to have 2 ginsengs on the board than really anything else.
I mean, the thing is
But
that like what's so powerful about Spark's ability to take a ginseng is that he can capture one ginseng, and with like he can capture with his dragon. He can move the dragon up and capture that ginseng, and then if Adder captures that dragon, then Spark can take his lion turtle and capture the other ginseng. He's losing both a lion turtle and a dragon. That's true, but he also got two ginseng. So if
how
he
are you?
was really committed to that, he could do that.
Yeah, because I really don't see how in like you know I don't really see any way except like late game to progress and win without your ginsengs. Like the
Right.
only real option Adder would have is to move his wheels or orchids or just something to the gates, exchange, get his ginsengs back,
Right.
because the pieces can all move so far that there are very few points on the board that won't be protected. So you can't really just keep you in the position without ginseng, you have to just win in one jump, which isn't possible. I mean, you don't have to, but there are like other ways, but it's definitely very hard to play without 2 ginsengs. I would say, I mean, I'd happily lose 2 wheels, 2 orchids, or even 2 of the original benders, but like 2 ginsengs is really really important to have. And I'd say that ginsengs are probably the most powerful piece, just simply because of what you can do with them, really. Because
Right.
like ginseng fortress, especially when there's like not just like connected to each other, but they're literally touching each other, there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah. Unless you have like a lion turtle in there.
Yeah, I guess the lion turtle does. stop that. But
But
then,
even then, you would need a lion turtle plus some other tile
yeah,
to
you need
capture.
to somehow bring your lion turtle up while it's protected,
Yeah.
um, and also have another piece threatening at least one of the ginseng. So, yeah, it can be broken, but it is especially like it is hard to do, and it is very very powerful. Um, so, I'd have to lose two of any other piece to keep two ginsengs on.
And then Rodaku made a move, pushing
Um,
that wheel
yeah,
out of the way.
which this opens. Oh wait, so the wheel is trapped by the koi, which this opens up the koi takes koi move that we were talking about earlier. Okay,
Yeah. Which I
so
think would be a good idea for Gyatso to do because that wheel's pretty useless while it's being trapped by Rodaku's toy.
yeah, so the koi takes koi, then allows the wheel to attack the other ginseng,
Yeah.
as well as the koi attacking the ginseng protecting the lotus. So that's a very powerful move. Also trapping the bison, which yeah, you can just take with the lion turtle, but then you know take with the orchid, and also just freeze up some stuff. Hmm. This is definitely a very interesting position. They're both interesting positions. I'm curious if we're going to finish before the finals.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, it's this. The finals are scheduled to happen in like 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. Ideally, we were saying ideally it would take an hour, but I think we all knew that it would take more than an hour. So
Yeah. I mean, it's taken an hour for 6 games, for 6 moves in Spark versus Adder's game. So this is wait.
that's crazy.
Oh, Spark made a move bringing their koi in. I really feel like Spark should just take a ginseng. There are so many different ways.
Well, the thing is, Adder
Well,
gained the advantage against Sparks needed to do something.
yeah, I feel like you take the ginseng. Like there are two ginseng protecting the lotus. You take one, and then the other ginseng is on. You take that one. You take the lotus, and then um, you know, Sparks has a lot of his pieces like out and developed, so it would be very easy to just once there's no capturing, uh, jump all the way across. I know I said it a lot, but I feel like taking the ginsengs here is really the right move.
Hmm.
It is. I find it interesting that Gyatso just hasn't used his ginsengs at all. I mean, well, okay, he is using them to like they're protecting the lotus, but other than that, he hasn't moved them.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, they're
Oh
so
yeah,
so
they are
interesting.
not. They have not moved. That is very odd. Yeah, the thing about the
Yeah,
ginsengs is they're more and more useful the closer they are to each other, which is funny because they start so far apart. So
yeah,
like it's usually a good idea to start getting them closer to each other earlier in the game, so you have more opportunities as the game progresses.
but then again, there was the like due to Gyatso moving his lotus out and then back in, literally next turn. That's 2 moves. Like he's essentially 2 moves behind.
Right.
Um, so it's quite amazing that he managed to equalize this position so much, being 2 moves behind. So, you know, I think it would be interesting to see like statistics for the tournament games. I'm sure. I mean, it's all available. I'm sure some people do it, but like the average length, the average length of games, and how that changed further into the rounds. uh, win rates, host versus guest, because like I think that there was some talk about maybe it being like better for guest, but I am curious if there is actually any difference.
Yeah, a lot of people are adamant about the guests having the
Oh,
clear advantage, but do we have a move somewhere?
Gyatso, yeah, Gyatso chose to bring his Lotus back again.
What?
Interesting. I feel like Gyatso is like winning with that. The koi takes koi thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like doing that is I feel like that sets him back a lot. I mean, yeah, because like koi takes koi, you're now threatening both ginsengs and trapping the badger mole, as well as attacking the uh, the lion turtle two different ways, and then there's no way of stopping. Yeah, Rodaki doesn't really have. Rodaki doesn't have a way of really protecting their lotus from that point, because you can just take the ginseng, take the other ginseng, take the lotus, take as many pieces as you want, and it would be like Gyatso would have the power to at any point just end the capture war after all that, like after taking the ginsengs. It's interesting that he chose. I'm really curious why he chose to move it back, like out and then back twice. It's also interesting that while the lotus was out, literally no capturing happened. Like
Oh,
there
what
were
the heck? You're right.
yeah, so there was 9 hosts that was brought out, and 11 hosts who was brought back. For those moves, literally no capturing happened. And there were so many pieces that could capture other pieces. Now, I can see that Gyatso is watching Sparks and Adder's game.
Yeah, I'm seeing some comments from him in there.
Yeah. I'm really curious what these people are thinking playing these games. I mean, we can
I'm
just
just
ask them
gonna
later, but
I'm just gonna get into Gyatso's head here.
while I'm waiting, I'm gonna make a few moves in my games.
I'm sorry. Wait, no. Okay, never mind. Wait, can't Rodaku win right now? Wait, no, the lion turtle. The lion turtle. Okay.
Yeah. I was looking at that, but then yeah, the lion turtle. I mean, I feel like having that lion turtle on like -1-0 or 0, depending on host guest, it's a very powerful position to have your lion turtle.
Yeah.
Because it stops the very easy 4-way win.
Yeah, Gyatso has talked about that before.
Yeah. One thing that I've been trying to do is move a piece into that position, and then get my lotus to the center, so they can't move their lion turtle there. And there's no way, because if you have a piece there, there is no way of stopping that win.
What's happening here is Gyatso is trying a different way of playing than what he's done before, and we're watching live if it's gonna work or not.
Yeah, I feel like trying a different strategy in a tournament game in the semifinals is just not the right time for that. Oh,
Maybe not. Yeah.
interesting. So I guess Rodaku feels like Kias is going to set up another way to take his lotus out, just moving to protect the lion turtle. Very defensive move, but feel like that koi takes koi move was the way to go.
Oh, did a move happen? Did I miss something?
Um, yeah, Rodaku moved his ginseng to protect his lion turtle.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, and then okay, Adder finally took Spark's lion turtle, the koi.
Capture finally happened.
Yeah, finally
Capture.
he played like it was 6 moves, like 7 moves into the Spark versus Adder game, so capture, and then like 12 moves in Gyatso versus Rodaku, no capturing.
Dude, we've been spectating two games at once for an hour, and the first capture has just happened just now.
Yeah, these are very very slow games.
Yes.
Yeah, so Adder has a choice of what he takes with here. I mean, so I feel like the choice here is to go with the dragon, and then because like if Adder takes with the bison, Spark takes with his bison, Adder would take with the lion turtle, and then Spark could move in and trap the lotus. But another option is to not take, like not really obviously take back, but to take the ginseng.
You and that ginseng, man, you're obsessed.
I mean, I really feel like in this position, taking the because like the ginsengs are protecting, like the ginseng is protecting the lotus, right? If there was no, if the ginsengs weren't there, Spark could have taken a lotus, and then Ada would have that uphill battle of bringing his lotus out without ginseng, all while Spark just trying to win.
I'm confused by why Adder went for that capture because Adder will lose this capture war.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they were just like thinking they don't have any better moves because I really don't see any better moves. Oh, interesting. There's been a move in Gyatso versus Rodaku. Orchid. I'm assuming that's just like preparing to bring his lotus out again and threatening stuff because threatens the orchid. It doesn't threaten the lion tail because of the ginseng, but it also threatens the ginseng, which is interesting. And
That is an interesting placement for the orchid. I'm really not sure what the point of that is.
I mean, I feel like it's just like threatening stuff because it's protected. So
Right.
so Gyatso brings his lotus back out and then was able to take the ginseng or the orchid if he wants, but I don't see why he would do that. He could also like move it slightly further ahead and then is able to like he moves it next to the orchid. He could still attack the ginseng and he's attacking the bison, which is protected, but like if that ginseng ever moves, he's attacking that bison.
Dragon up.
And then interesting dragon. I'm curious, was that just to have another piece involved, or
Very
does
possible.
boosting bison really like do anything? I don't think that boosting the bison does much for attacking. I'm assuming
It
just like
technically threatens the lion turtle now.
oh, true. That actually might be it. So Gyatso takes it out. The lion turtle is taken by the bison.
Hmm.
And also now there's like three things that can take that one. Only one thing that can take back. So
I guess this is why Monkey Otso felt such a need to make Rodaku not able to capture because he didn't want that to lose the lion turtle.
Yeah, which is fair, but I feel like Gyatso, before he brought his Lotus back in, was kind of like, I feel like he had more control over the situation,
Yeah.
because he had threats on the Lotus. Ginseng's were just in the way, but like, he had ways of eliminating the Ginseng and keeping threats on the Lotus. Um, he definitely had control there, but then just let go of that when he brought his Ginseng back. Yeah, and then Vaginal Lap, I guess, just getting more pieces involved. See, I feel like I went from thinking that this game was like Rodaku was winning to it was equal to Rodaku was winning again.
Yeah.
Because like when Gyatso brought his, that really equaled up the position a lot. And like the 2 moves before he did that, where he was playing, working on that, it started to feel more.
I guess Gyatso is just not one to capture unless he really feels like it's the right time.
Yeah.
My favorite games are always the ones where a player takes the capture wars very seriously and plans them out so that they come out on top. And I I think that a really good way to play this game is to just um, go for the small victories. So it's like capture what you can, and eventually your
Yeah.
opponent will run out of valuable tiles, and you'll be the one with valuable tiles. So
Yeah.
that's what I think is a good way to play.
I feel like early Lotus games are more fun in my opinion because there's a lot more to think about, like with capturing involved, less like all the abilities and everything. Um, they're definitely more fun and definitely have more interesting end games because like there's 3 pieces on the board and you're just like trying to do something with that.
Right.
Also,
Sparks with the capture.
Sparks. There we go. Second capture in an hour and 12 minutes. And then I'm assuming captures back, captures, and I think we said that Adder would lose this capture war here because
Another thing Adder could do is just not capture it, but
true. I mean,
I think I think a smart thing for Adder would be to hold on,
to take the
just
Ginseng.
capture it with it capture capture the dragon with his bison and not and then once that bison is captured from Spark's koi, not go in with the lion turtle. Or once it's captured by Spark's bison.
I think that would be best, but I think Sparked would still be coming out on top in that capture war.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I just think it's not worth it for Adder to lose his lion turtle over this. So he's gonna lose it anyway.
Yeah. I feel like you already know my opinions on this. Just getting there and threatening the Ginsens because like there's always to move the wheel to threaten the Ginseng, wheel to 2 -5, um, attacking that, and then you also like shooting through that get the Lotus. Lotus would be another site eventually. Um, one option is just to get is for Sparks to try and get their orchids more involved because their orchids haven't moved at all really. Um, you could like bring the orchid in from the left side of the board to just get more involved and threaten stuff as well. The right one could also threaten stuff. I don't know saying wait did I just oh did Adder misclick that capture?
Oh no. Well, he could try. He can ask for an undo.
Oh wait, it doesn't. Okay. Because Ada was saying, wait, did I just admit that was definitely a misclick? So, um, I'm assuming it was a different move that he thought he misclicked, but
So I think he thought that he submitted the move.
yeah, I thought that he was talking about that capture, because, I
That
mean,
that was Sparks who did the capture though. So
well,
I
the Ada's capture
oh
beforehand,
there was capture before that. Gotcha.
yeah, and then Spark took, and Ada was like about to make his move, and then was like, wait a second, I thought I already did that, whatever, I thought
Right.
that wasn't submitted. I mean, I've had stuff like that happen sometimes, but I guess not. In 2 games for over an hour, we've had 20 total.
We're gonna be here for a while, folks.
Yeah, and then there's the finals after.
I think we're taking a 15-minute break before that, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that's the plan.
I feel like it would be interesting to have like a timed ginseng tournament because Scud does have the timer. Like you can make there's like the optional thing to have a timer.
Yeah,
I think that
I
could
was
be
the reason
interesting.
that was put in.
Yeah. To I feel like I don't know. I feel like we should try a timed tournament sometime.
That would be pretty cool, especially considering the fact that ginseng often feels very chess-like. So it'd be interesting if we see some blitz chess-like strategies in there.
Because like these games have, they're all like super thought out. They've lasted over an hour, and 7 moves have been made.
Yeah.
But you can't think that much in a time game. Like um, I feel like it doesn't have to be a super fast time limit. It could just be like 20 minutes, even 15, like around that would be good. Um, but then there's like the pain of scheduling all that, making sure that the
Mm,
players can sit down live and play,
yeah.
and just like for 20 minutes and just yeah, it would definitely be difficult to organize, but I think that would be interesting to try something like that, and it would also make for this.
That would be good as a voice chat event. If you get everyone in a voice chat at the same time, that way you definitely know they're there and they're alive and they're ready.
Yeah, it would also be interesting to try like tournaments with different times, like maybe even like 3 minute games, 5 minute games, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and just like see how like the strategy just devolves as the time gets lower and lower. People have less time to think.
You know what might be fun is if like it became like a weekly event, like every Saturday at a certain time, anyone who wants to join in can. So then like if you're able to on that Saturday and it's like the same time every Saturday and you can if you want to you just join into the VC and then you get put into a game with someone, a blitz game, and it's just like a couple minutes of craziness, everyone's screaming and going crazy, and then it's done.
Yeah, that could be it. That could actually be cool. We should schedule that after this.
Well, I can't schedule it, but hopefully someone will take the idea because I'm on an airplane Wednesday and
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to starting my 2 year mission where I'm going to be off of the online world for 2 years. So
Oh,
yeah, this tournament is my adieu to
so
the
no more pie show for you?
no more Pie Show and for 2 years at least, so I'll come back after that.
Oh, this is interesting. Ada just taking the wheel.
Might as well. Sometimes you just need to
Yeah,
take a wheel, you know. Sometimes you just need to let that anger out and just go for it.
yeah, because I mean, here, it threatens the bison. You could take with the bison. Actually, You
Oh, that
take
is
with
a good move. That's a cool move. I like that move.
yes, you take with the bison, then that the dragon loses like one protecting piece, but then you take with the orchid, you lose your orchid.
Right.
So there is just the option of moving the bison, then you lose your other wheel, and your badger has to take. But yeah, there is also the option of ginseng over one to protect the bison and the dragon. It's definitely an interesting move.
The interesting thing here, though, is that that dragon can go ahead and just capture the bison. So if Sparked wanted to, he could respond by just capturing Adder's
Right.
bison. Then, of course, that makes his bison vulnerable.
You can't take the bison, or yeah,
Oh
you
no,
can't take the
it's
bison.
protected. It's protected. You're right.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to take ginseng. See, if those ginsengs weren't there, that would totally be a viable move. Also, it seems like Rodaku. This is interesting. Rodaku just moving his dragon backwards one. I mean, it still boosts the bison, but it doesn't boost the wheel. So curious what the point of that move was because
Have our competitors gone crazy?
yeah, because like before, that dragon kind of was able to threaten a lot, but then now it has one less space forward to be able to threaten. Actually, also it's blocked to the side, so it can't really threaten that much anymore. Um, hmm.
Monkey Yatso on Rodaku's game is. It looks so messy because no capturing has happened yet, like at all. So all the tiles are still out there. It's just turning into one of those messes of the game.
Yeah, it's really interesting that Rodaku chose to move his dragon forward as far as it can, and then was like, "Wait a second, no, I'd rather it be back here the next turn," because you could have just moved it there in the first place.
Dum, 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 dum. Bum, 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 bum.
I'm taking this opportunity to respond to some of my games.
Oh, nice. I wonder if I should actually record this. I've been recording so far, but I don't know if people would
Okay,
actually want to watch
I mean, you can like cut it down to only the parts where people are moving.
it. Yeah, that takes so much time.
Yeah, because like in this like hour and a half, there's only been like 10 minutes of actual moving and talking about.
Right.
Interesting. So I guess that the Gyatso moved the Koi, um, which blocks the Lotus and Badger Mold from moving now, which is definitely an interesting move.
Hmm. Might be smart of Gyatso to protect that as well, with the ginseng or something.
Yeah, I find it really like Gyatso was the one who like pointed out the importance importance of ginsengs to me. I find it interesting that he hasn't moved to ginsengs at all.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Yeah. I find it especially interesting that he hasn't moved his ginseng, but he has moved his wheel.
Mm.
Which typically I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like there are a lot of times where wheels just kind of stay where they are and will occasionally move across the map and take the opponent's wheel.
Guess he's just trying to keep us on our toes.
Yeah. I mean, you did say that he was like trying out a different play style, right?
Yeah, he says something like that.
Tournament is probably not the best time to try that. I'll be right back.